If you are wanting your teen to be a little more independent, but you're not quite sure how to make that happen, hey, I'm Shawna Partlow, and I'm a teen relationship coach, and I help parents connect with their teen so they can talk about all issues. So I have a question for you, okay? Mom, Dad, are you possibly the one that could be preventing your teen from being a little more independent? Well, hey, I know that might be a hard question, and you're thinking, what? No, of course I'm not. Why would it be me? Well, okay, I'm going to give you two little questions here, okay? And then you can let me know in the chat, all right? If yeah, okay, this was me. No, absolutely not. Or you can even just tell me, hey, if it was one or both of these questions, okay, that I'm going to ask you, if it was you, or maybe even have your own response, okay, that, hey, I'd actually love to hear about. So here's the first question, okay. If you, all right, Mom, Dad, ask your teen, let me ask you, I have to say it correctly because I'm saying it wrong. If someone asks your teen a question and you, Mom and Dad, jump in to answer, come out of nowhere like a ninja, okay, to respond to that question for them. Oh yeah, so how are you going to graduate this year? Yes, they are, and then they're going to go to college at wherever, okay, whatever the question is. So hey, what did you do this last weekend? You know, they stayed the night at their friend and they had a really good time. So like, and then people are like, wow, okay, I thought I was asking you that question, but Mom, Dad seems to really know all these answers that I'm actually asking the teen. Okay, so that's the first question. If you just jump out of nowhere like a ninja and respond to the question that's being asked to your teenager, not to you, but to your teenager. All right, so that was the first one. Here's the second question. That if, okay, you are constantly telling your teen how to answer a question that is asked to them, okay? So the example would be, all right, they're being asked a question from somebody. So what did you get on that test last night or yesterday? You know, that you were really like thinking, oh man, I'm going to flunk, and I wasn't sure, you know, that. So what ended up happening with that test? And then you say to your teen, yeah, tell them what you got on that test. Or even if it's not even like that. So I'm actually going to even backtrack myself here, because the scenario, even that's the question, okay? But here's the scenario that you are somewhere, okay, and you just out of the blue say to someone, hey, guess what little Linda Lou got on that test that she was struggling with? And then they're like, yeah, okay, well, all right, I guess I'll tell them what I got. And they don't really want to talk about it because whether they did good or bad. You know, sometimes they don't want to talk about it, period, because sometimes getting your teen to talk is like pulling teeth from a newborn baby. And when you they feel like kind of sometimes put on the spot, and then you're telling them how to even just be in a conversation, okay? So then you answer that. Well, tell them that you got this grade. Tell them what you did to get that grade. Okay, maybe they got their driver's license. Maybe they have a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend. Maybe they are getting like a new dress for something. Maybe it doesn't even matter what the maybe is. The point of what I'm saying is, are you telling your teen how to respond to about almost every, you know, question, scenario that you're pulling them up and saying, tell them how you did that. Tell them what you did. Tell them where you're going. Tell them what's happening. You know, like, okay, you should not be actually having to do that all of the time. If you are wanting your teen to be a little more independent than what they are today, okay? So those are just two little questions that I'm asking you, two little kind of some scenarios that I'm throwing in there for you, because so many times as parents, you know, hey, we do that to our teenagers, and then we wonder this, don't we get them mad and angry and upset and like, gosh, so stinking annoyed. It's like, what is their deal that they just don't talk to anybody? They just have a hard time with conversation. Well, Mom, Dad, it could very well be because you just jump in for everything. You're just constantly giving a response, giving an answer, just constantly just taking away actually independence from them, okay? So, of course, yeah, you might need to step back a little bit and be like, okay, I have been that parent. I have been that parent. Oh man, okay. Because maybe you have not even realized that that is what you've been doing. So now that you do realize, all right, hey, woohoo, yay for you. Now you, like I said, yes, step back, think about some things, and then you're just like, okay, well, what do I do to stop doing that? Well, glad you asked. Here's a couple suggestions, okay? When your teen is asked something, hey, if you got to put your hand over your mouth, oh my gosh, get some duct tape, whatever you got to do, okay? You just do not answer. If you catch yourself responding, you need to say, oh, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I know you're talking to them and, to Sarah, Sue, to Johnny. And you know what? I'm going to let him answer. I'm going to let her answer. I'm going to let her respond. And then you do, all right? Hey, if you got to walk out of the room, then do, all right? But you have to let your teen respond. It's okay to let your teen talk, all right? And when you stop doing this, jumping in like you're in a game show, like, oh, me. Oh, I know the answer. All right. Hitting that button quick before your teen does, that it's not a competition. All right. And it's not about you saying the stuff for them. If you're wanting your teen to be a little more independent, all right, because you have to let them talk. You have to let them think about some things. You have to let them respond. And they may not respond right away because they're so used to you trained mentally that, oh yeah, dad's going to answer that for me. So I just need to sit here and then just say, yeah, I did do that. Yeah. Or not even say anything, just nod like, yeah. And then when they ask you, oh, hey, so how was it? Was it great? Oh yeah, he really liked it. Oh yeah, he really had a good time. Okay. So then you, mom, dad, you just have to zippy the lippy and just let your teen respond. Okay. Because if you want them to be a little more independent, all right? So then something else, first of all, if you're getting any value out of this video, then go ahead and hit like and feel free to subscribe, okay? Because there's a lot more videos to come. I am not going to stop doing this because this is what I'm going to be doing, okay? Bringing you videos. If there's a video that you would like to have me talk about and expound upon, then hey, put that in the chat. You can message me and just let me know, all right? So I do want to give you something that will help your teen, okay, be a little more independent, all right, and this is letting your teen make decisions. And I know, golly, for some of you, this is like, oh, so painful. And you're like, what? Especially now that your teen is driving, especially even that your teen has become a teenager, okay? They were 12, now they had a birthday, now they're 13, okay? Or maybe they're 19 even, and you are still trying to make so many decisions for them that they've graduated high school now. And now, you know what? Whether they're going away to college, whether they're staying home, or whether they are just going to stay and not go to college but live in your home and work, and now you want to make still these decisions for them. Now that's hard, I know, because I have been there myself, and it can be a very painful, difficult struggle on your part as the parent, because we're so used to, really, I personally think this, as our teens are growing and developing, the struggle is real for us as mom, as dad, because, we have them as babies and we grow them and nurture them and, all these different changes, and we have to grow with the changes and change ourselves with each level that our child, baby, develops and grows to, because you do not treat your teenager, hopefully, okay, like they're still a baby, all right? Because sometimes you do. Because I've seen several parents still treat their teen like a baby. But you know what? Hey, that's part of the independence, isn't it? Because you cannot treat your teen like a baby and then expect them to be independent. You just cannot, okay? Because you don't want them to be dependent on you, and that's not where the independence, where they're independent on mom and dad, okay? So Even though that phrase and that term independent and dependent is not the same thing, is it? Okay. You want your teen to be independent because the goal is that, hey, eventually they will be out of your house and living life and being productive citizens, right? So that is the ultimate goal. And as they get a little bit older, okay, they go through testing stages too. So when they hit 13, that's another testing stage. Oh, well, I'm 13 now, so I should be able to do kind of whatever I want. You have a lot of teenagers think that. Now, I'm not saying every single teenager is going to be doing and thinking the way that I'm even portraying. But yeah, there is a whole lot of them. And some are a little bit slower. So the 13-year-old, maybe she was already thinking that way, okay? Because girls tend to think a little bit more of that, I'm going to do whatever I want, and you're not the boss of me, and you don't tell me what to do. They tend to think that in a earlier age than 13, okay? But that's something that you as mom and dad, you do definitely need to, okay? Be parenting your teen, be parenting even your child, preteen, because if you do not have a hold on, and I'm not talking just like strictly control, like, oh my gosh, okay, that they can't do this, they can't do that, and you are so demanding and controlling. I'm not talking about that, but if you do not have some sort of a structure around your teenager, and when they hit into those teen years, oh yeah, you know what? They are going to take off and really do whatever they want. And you are just going to be standing there left like, oh my gosh, what happened? When did this take place? What's going on here that you're going to be so blindsided? Because your teen may do some things then that you never thought were possible. So it doesn't mean that's always necessarily in your parenting, okay? So hey, I'm not trying to just constantly just give you like okay, but you do need to pay attention to what's going on first here, okay? How has your teen been in these realms? Because sometimes you really truly do wake up and they are a different person. And sometimes they have been becoming this different person and you just turned a blind eye. So now that they're 13, now that they're 19, okay, each stage at 13, there's going to be a testing stage. When they hit 16, there's going to be another testing stage. When they hit 18, 17, 18, when they're graduating high school, okay, not college, but high school, there's another testing stage. And when they're 19 and they're living in your home, there's another testing stage for freedom, for boundaries. And you just have to be aware of those things and how are you going to respond to those things, okay? Because you want them to be independent. Because that's what I'm talking about here. You want them to be independent. So I totally understand that. And you need to understand that too, okay? You don't treat your 13-year-old like you do your 19-year-old. You should not anyway, okay? Yeah, your 13-year-old should not get to do whatever they want to do. There should be some guidelines, there should be some boundaries, there should be some rules, and there should be some structure in their life, all right? But you give them a little bit more, right? You give them this freedom, okay? So that's what you're doing, giving them some freedom, giving them so that they can make decisions on their own, and you give them a little bit more at 13 because, hey, you know what, you're 13 now. So you give them a little bit more. And especially 16, hey, you're driving now. You give them a little bit more of that they can make decisions. And you definitely want to be, having conversation with them about decisions that they're making and the consequences to the decisions that, hey, you know what, that you might be making sometime, and the people that are around them, because the older you get, the higher the consequence. And that's a statement that, you know what, feel free to adopt that statement and say that to your teenager, because it's very, very true. And then guess what? You can choose whatever it is that you do. You can choose your lifestyle, but you cannot choose your consequence. So those are things that, you know what, to develop and start saying something, even if it's over and over and over again and it's repetitive, yeah, definitely. Get a phrase, get something, especially as they're driving, especially as they turn 13, especially as they graduate high school. You can keep that same phrase throughout the teen years because it's going to be relevant, okay? And you continue to repeat it. You continue to repeat it because at some point you're like, golly, are they ever gonna grasp what I'm saying? Yeah, eventually they will, okay? And it's a good day when that happens. Eventually they will. So we're just going to kind of give a little recap again. If you're getting any value out of this, hit like, okay, and hit subscribe. A nice little review for what we've talked about is, brief review would be one, okay, is to stop answering for them. Oh my golly, okay? Stop answering for your teen. Zippy the lippy and let your teen respond, okay? And then another thing is let your teen figure out how to reply to what is spoken to them, okay? Let your teen decide that. Let your teen, even if they seem to be like struggling with the response because, you know, they might keep looking at you because they're so used to you answering. But let your teen figure out how to actually speak to people, because at some point, hey, they're gonna be out in the real world, okay? Not just behind their phone, not just behind using their social media all the time. They might actually have to, hey, guess what? Be face to face with somebody, okay? And you letting your teen respond in a question asked to them is actually a very good thing, okay? So that's what you do, okay? And then another thing is that you're going to let your teen make decisions. And in the midst of making those decisions, sometimes it's mistakes too. Okay, and man, I know you're like, oh my gosh, but you know, I don't want them to make the same mistakes and things that I did. Hey, exactly. And it doesn't mean that they will, okay? But a big thing for them to not make the huge mistakes also is that you are constantly in a conversation with your teen. All right, as painful sometimes as that might be, or as like, oh my gosh, why do we gotta talk about this again? Because you know what, you're the parent, and that's your role as mom and dad. That's what you were supposed to do. That's parenting your teens, okay? It's not because it's easy all the time, but it will be rewarding at some time, eventually, all right? It may not be today, and it may not be in 5 years, okay? I know that's not probably something you wanna hear, but hey, I got to tell you the truth, don't I? Okay, because I cannot sit here and be in this video and then just lie to you, okay? Because that's just not true. And sometimes teens, you know, they don't. They just are good kids all the time, you know? Just because. So you just don't know. But regardless, it doesn't mean that you don't stay in conversation with your teen, okay? Even if they are really good kids, okay? And you think, well, they don't really need me. Yeah, they do, all right? They still need you to be talking with them and having conversation with them. If they're extrovert, introvert, it does not matter. The fact is that it's your teenager, all right? And you're the parent to that teenager. That is how you know, wow, okay, I need to be engaging. I need to be talking. I need to be having a conversation. I need to be just, you know, here for them, with them, and having fun with them, and talking with them, and giving them, you know, some wings to fly so they can be a peacock and fly, right? Okay? So that's what you're thinking. That's the realm. If you need to watch this video again and again and again, of course you can, all right? Because that's what it's here for. And that's what I'm here for, all right? So you can find ways to contact me, message me, and just let me know what you think of this video. And I think, you know what, that's about all I'm going to say for this right now. And thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you in the next video.